1,000 thanks to my mother and to Jesus for granting me the blessing to testify from this place today. My name is Seni Udayakumar. I was born into a Hindu family, but I now live with deep Christian faith. This is my husband, Yodaya Kumar, and we have a daughter. We have been living in Bahrain for 17 years, though our home is in Kottayam. I work as an HR manager in a dental hospital, and my husband runs a building materials shop there. Our daughter has been studying for her degree in our home country for the past year. I say openly that the opportunity to come here was given to me because I, like many others, was struggling. I was born into a family with no financial difficulties, and even after marriage, we did not face any hardships. Because of that, I did not give enough importance to prayer. I would spend time listening to movies and Hindi songs on YouTube. I never imagined that the graph of my life would one day fall after being so high. Everything began to change during COVID in 2020. I started experiencing mental struggles. In 2020, I purchased a house in my home country, investing a lot of money. After returning to Bahrain, the COVID lockdown began within 5 days. My husband had to close his company. The rent they paid was very high, and paying months of rent without income pushed us into debt. His business collapsed. Since I had a stable salary, we survived on my income alone. Even then, I still did not prioritize prayer. In 2020, my husband's father passed away from a sudden attack. I began to feel that my lack of prayer was the reason so many hardships were happening. So I tried praying according to Hindu traditions, although I hardly knew how because I had grown up outside India. Yet I always loved Christian songs. In 2022, my own father passed away suddenly. That became my second major setback. My brother and his wife were running a company in Technopark, Thiruvananthapuram, and their business also collapsed during COVID. Their debts were so severe that neither they nor we could recover from them. We emptied all our Indian accounts to manage the crisis. In 2023, I worked extremely hard to secure a government accreditation for my hospital. If the accreditation was not obtained, the institution would face a massive loss. Because of this pressure and due to my existing spondylitis, I began taking over-the-counter painkillers for severe headaches. At times, I couldn't even stand beside my own bed. Even lying down, I felt as if my head could not stay upright. Eventually, due to overdosing on painkillers, my knees turned black. In 2023, while working toward the accreditation, I recruited a new staff member. I noticed a bead bracelet in her hand and asked about it. She said it belonged to Kreupasanam Mother. I had barely heard about Kreupasanami before. Just a week earlier, while I was in the kitchen, my husband had asked me a question. He told me that even if we do not greet someone, we should not insult anyone, and asked why one of my relatives had posted something negative on Facebook. That relative had visited Kreupasanam and then posted against it. I had asked my husband, against whom? He replied, against Kreupasanam. When I asked what Kreupasanam was, he said it was a church in Cherthala. That was the first time I truly heard about it. Later, the staff member I had hired told me that the bead was from Kreupasanam Mother and offered me a Kreupasanam newsletter. I brought it without understanding its significance and took it straight to the shelf where I kept my gods. By chance, I came across the priest's sermon from this place on YouTube. It appeared on my screen for the first time ever. I listened to it and then began listening to testimonies from Kreupasanam. Slowly, that is how I came to know what Kreupasanam truly is. After this, I told the staff about my financial struggles and asked what I should do. She advised me to submit a light a candle prayer request. I did not know what that was or how to do it. However, I submitted a light a candle prayer request. I included 3 intentions: that our financial problems would be resolved, that the issues with my brother would be settled, and that my mental struggles would be healed. I also prayed that the mission I had taken up would become a success. I did not know whether I would receive any answer after submitting the request. The staff member wrote certain prayers for me, but I did not pray them. Instead, I kept repeating that I wanted to come here and see the mother of Kreupasanam. In June 2024, when my husband was planning to travel to enroll our daughter for higher studies, his BP suddenly shot up. Until then, none of us had any illness. He was taken to a hospital and they said that since he was going home to India, he should go there and have a detailed checkup. So my husband came here to India and saw a doctor at the hospital. They advised him to do a treadmill test. While doing the test, he collapsed. Only my daughter was with him at that moment. The doctor called me and said my husband's condition was critical, that he needed to be shifted to the ICU and that a pacemaker had to be inserted. I told him that since I was abroad, the procedure could only be done once I returned to India. I felt completely helpless. I did not know whom to ask or what to do. I knelt down near the sofa in the hall and cried loudly. I pleaded with the Holy Mother not to let any harm come to my husband, that whatever he was suffering from should be something treatable with medicine. I begged her to support me as I was already carrying heavy financial burdens, and I promised that I would come here. At that time, the doctor who owns the hospital I work for, someone like a brother to me, told me not to worry. He said I could take any amount of money I needed from his collection. Through that help, I was able to catch a flight the same day and return home. My husband was shifted to Perumal Hospital. They said they would do an angiogram since he was treadmill positive. While he was taken to the OT, I prayed deeply, asking the mother not to allow anything serious to happen. After the procedure, the doctor called me inside and said, "There is no block at all. This is nothing short of a miracle." Being from the medical field, I understood how extraordinary that was. I cried out loudly, "Mother, I wanted to come to Kreupasanam, but I was afraid my husband might say no. If he refused, I knew I would feel deeply hurt. So I told him beforehand, please do not say no to me. I want to go to Kreupasanam." He agreed, and that is how I came at the end of June. On the first day, I was unable to take the covenant. Later, on July 3, I returned and took the covenant. I firmly decided from that day that I would follow the covenant life without fail. Because my Malayalam is not very strong, I wrote down all the intentions in both Malayalam and English. I did not even fully understand everything I wrote, but my first mission was clear. My financial situation had to change. We were in debt, running into locks. Slowly, step by step, things began to improve. We survived entirely on my salary. Today, our financial burdens have changed. When I returned from here, I bought Kreupasanam newsletters. I did not tell my mother or mother-in-law that I had visited Kreupasanam because I feared negative comments. I first gave the newsletter to my mother. Now, she is a great devotee of Kreupasanam Mother. She is 75 years old, and she lives today by the blessings of the Mother. If she does not hear the morning rosary, she becomes upset. Kreupasanam Mother is the strength of my mother, who lives alone. And if you ask me what I have gained, I will say I gained positivity. For years, when life was going well and everything seemed in our control, I never reflected on where our abilities came from. We thought we had achieved everything ourselves, but nothing is possible without God's grace. When grace is withdrawn, everything can collapse. That is what happened to me. Now, after living in the covenant for a year and a half, many people who see me ask, "What happened to your face?" There is a glow we have never seen before. Many people have spoken negatively to me about the covenant. I've never listened to their negativity. I pray in the morning. I pray again in the evening. If I skip prayer, it disturbs my mind deeply. I did not know how to pray the rosary before. I learned it. I began going to church. I participated in the Holy Mass. Now I have a great strength within me. I stopped carrying painkillers, which I had been taking for years. Now there is only the covenant oil and the rosary beads in my bag. This is what I gained through my self-confidence and faith in God. My brother's financial difficulties also changed in a similar way, and a miracle took place. My brother used to resist the Kreupasanam, but 2 weeks ago, he and his wife came here and prayed to the Father. When we fall ill and face financial burdens, these become our greatest struggles. The only way to overcome them is through prayer. What will happen if we do not have the merit that the Father always speaks about? To be honest, none of us should be proud of our abilities. Our abilities mean nothing. What we truly need is grace. Without God's mercy, all of us will fall. We have also started a new business. The institution where I work successfully passed the accreditation program with 92% government approval. I have completed almost half of the tasks I set for myself. Now, I am not the same person who once came here uncertain about giving testimony or renewing my covenant. I'm facing a small financial difficulty. My husband's mother passed away suddenly, and that is why I came to the country now. Through this, I was able to testify and renew my covenant. As an act of mercy, I bought Kreupasanam papers from here and began distributing them in Bahrain, a Muslim country. Many poor people lie on the roadside without food, so I buy food packets for them. Whenever I see someone in need, my husband also asks about their situation, and we provide the food they require. Since I work in a hospital environment, even if a staff member speaks negatively to me, I respond positively with a healing attitude. I tell everyone that they should visit Kreupasanam because their difficulties will be solved there. When childless couples share their struggles, I tell them that they must somehow reach Kreupasanam. Not everyone can reach here because it is the mother who decides. Only if the mother wills it can we come. Many staff members tell me they will visit the Kreupasanam when they go home, but when they return, they say they could not go. It is because unless the mother wants us to, none of us can come here. With these words, I thank Holy Mother and Holy Son.
Psalm 91:14. I will rescue him because he clings to me in love. I will protect him because I know his name. From this testimony, we see that Seni Udayakumar is a devoted follower of Jesus and the Mother. As mentioned earlier, she and her husband had not valued prayer despite their talents. When their merits became demerits, they slowly turned to God. One day, when he saw a comment on Facebook, her husband reminds, even if we don't agree, don't despise. Their hearts were good, and God used small events to guide them. The staff who came for recruitment held a rosary, showing them the significance of grace. The next day they watched a talk on YouTube, realizing step by step that God has a plan and the Mother calls us in her timing. They learned to use the light a candle prayer and prayed with faith. Even during her husband's critical illness, Seni relied on one prayer and waited for her mother's intercession. Jesus and the Mother stood by them, showering mercy through generations. After her husband recovered, this daughter asked was that she should go to the Kreupasanam. She gave her first Kreupasanam newsletter to her own mother. Previously, she had relied heavily on painkillers. Now, her bag contains only covenant oil and beads, a testament to her spiritual transformation. She emphasizes that coming here is not just a personal decision but a response to God's call. Through the covenant, she has grown spiritually and received countless blessings. True faith in God comes when we draw close to Him and the Mother. Positivity, trust that everything in life is for the best, and showing mercy to others are gifts from God. Seni dedicates her life to being close to Jesus and the Mother. Let us offer this testimony with gratitude to Jesus and the Mother for the blessings these children have received, for the healing through their intercession, and for the financial upliftment granted through their mercy.
Extraordinary experiences of God can be yours. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, subscribe now. Share this video with your friends and become a true disciple of the Lord.